Hello, everyone. Thank you, Sound, very much for letting me say about ski technology. My name is Hiếu. I'm from Super Team Vietnam, and today I'm going to say with you about Passkeys, what I think will be the future of blockchain, not only Solana, but blockchain in the coming 12 months, because now Passkeys already supported in Solana, in Sui, and in November. It will be supported by EVM as well. However, each change their own characteristics. I think the way they implement it will be quite different. This will be like, I think for me, will be a significant change for Solana and for blockchain in general. Let me show you how it look like. So the title of this is The Future of Solana is Passkey. And I really want you guys to question me for the whole conversation because I want it to be two-way conversation. Before I get started, let's do a short review on Solana and what is Solana. I think you might be very tired of me repeating this all the time. And this is actually a very unpopular opinion. But for me, Solana is special cloud computing. Not only Solana, but every blockchain for me is special purpose cloud computing. For example, like this is a snapshot of Solana maybe 2 to 3 weeks ago when we have more than 1,000 computers all around the world that synchronize memory every 400 milliseconds. And we are over here and we're interacting with the network. We are interacting with each cap like validator in here. If we interact with it, then we interact with the whole network. That is the cap like the whole point blockchain and how it look like. So this is Solana network. Maybe let me cap. So how can I have this image? I go to Solana Beach. In here, I go to validator. So cap like we can see what happened today as well. So like right now we have 992 validator all around the world and so on. So this is Solana, and you can do the same thing for let's say Ethereum. Ethereum nodes here. You can see the distribution of node as well. So yeah, I think depend on your definition. Ethereum can from 8,000 node to 15,000. So this is like how blockchain work for me, and the reason why I call it cloud computing, because basically every transaction that you submit to the network, it is going to be duplicated on over the network. Okay. But one big difference between the way that Web 2 and Web 3 work is not only the way that computers synchronize, but also the way authentication is created, right? So normally authentication in Web2 that we know is what we do is that we have a password and then we have a username and password and we register our account with our centralized server and the centralized server will give the password for us. Maybe they will encrypt the password or so on, but however, the rig is centralized on the centralized server. That is like the definition of like how in Web2 how you do it. So just to give you a brief review about how it look like, I think it look like this. Yeah. So I think this is the kind of normal model in Web2 when we have a sign up and log in. So for example, like I have a very simple model in here. Let's say I'm a student. I want to log in into a university database. What I do is that I have a sign up process when I sign up my password, my username, and whenever I log in, I use the username and password. That is like the sign up and login model in here. So I usually tell people that okay, this is the centralized bricks model. Why call it a centralized bricks model? Because in the end of the day, it is kind of the user. You keep your username and password. You rememorize it, right? But however, in the server, it will keep it either in a form of hash or like they keep the password on the server. So it's centralized bricks. However, this model you cannot replicate this model on blockchain because basically in blockchain every data is public. So if you keep the secret on the blockchain, it means nothing because everybody can read it. So that is the reason why the authentication model in blockchain is very different. So this is like the basic model how it's work on blockchain, which is both public key and private key. And this is how every wallet works. So whenever you have your own machine and you want to work with blockchain, one thing you do in your computer, you generate a private key and public key in your own computer. You use an algorithm to generate it, which blockchain they provide for you, and you create a private key and public key pair. The interesting thing is no validator any of the private information. One of the interesting example that I usually give people is this. This is like random Bitcoin private key. This is example I usually to my friend how blockchain works, you can see that this website you can refresh it, and every time you refresh it, it will randomly generate a Bitcoin key. If you are lucky enough, you might see that you have any Bitcoin on the right hand side. I don't think I'm that lucky, and everything is zero. The moral of the story is the chance for people at like two different times to generate the same private key is impossible. The chance is so low. So that's why we are heading to the private key and public key, and we have anyone can generate their own random key in the device, but they never fear that other people can generate the same random key. Of course, there's an advanced technique that you can mention later, but this is basically how it works. And every time you interact with blockchain, what we do is that we send three things to the validator. We send a hash, which is just the raw data. We encrypt it with the private key, and then we have the hash information. We send three information. We send the public key, the hash, and the raw data to the RPC provider. I mean to the validator. And then what they do is that they will validate information. If they can decrypt the public key and the hash, and it equal to the raw data, then the validator can say, I don't know who you are, but I know for sure that you are the one that hold the private key. So that is how it works. So I think I can keep in here for a few minutes for you to do Q&A because this is a very crucial concept. Have you ever tried to randomize private key in your machine and experience this? Okay. And I think I really want for you guys to ask questions when I'm present, so it will be easier for me to understand what you are seeing and what is the interaction from you. Let's continue. So again, let me go to the next thing. So this is how public key and private key work. Now I will move on to the Solana file model. What is Solana file model? I usually explain to everyone that if there is anything for you to remember, understand how Solana works, this is the only mental model that you should have. So let me explain to you. If you ever use any operating system like Windows or Linux, that you will notice that actually an operating system is just a software that help you interact with the hardware of the computer. But there's two things it do for you. One is file management. Second thing is like threats and management in the network. So file management is a big part of any operating system, and it's the same with Solana as well. So this is how Solana have like file model that I usually see. So we have few things in here. We have the native program, which is like there are 26 native program in Solana. I think this native program is equal to the system 32 folder in Windows if you ever use Windows. One of the notable things that makes Solana different from Ethereum is when you build create a program, you build an executable file and you upload the executable file to the blockchain. It's either the red file in here. Okay, so this is how Solana file model works. As the programmer, we our program, compile it, and upload the executable file, which is the red file to the network. This is how it works in Solana. You want to write some information to the SVM, create another file. The blue file, we call the program the account, the PDA, and sometimes we use the purple one, is the public key. Each of this public key with a private key. The special thing about this is the owner. Like a Linux system, every has an owner, and only the owner the right to information into the in Solana very special characteristic. For example, if the owner within the system program, it will have something to do with the signing key and the CPI, which is a topic that you more about Solana. This is very useful because the owner can dictate how the file is going to behave. Every time we as a programmer build a executable file in Solana, we use this executable file to write into other like data file. So this is Solana model. Let's go to the passkey. I spend a lot of time the public key and private key because it's a very crucial part of Solana. And we have the file model in here. So now let's go to passkey and what is passkey. So actually, if you ever use, I think you will be familiar with this model. I think in the screen you see in here is a very familiar screen from iPhone and Android. In this iPhone, you can see that there's a pop-up Face ID to sign in. So this is the kind of like whenever you do a bank transfer or you do something in iPhone that require user authentication. Sometimes it will require biometrics. So this is iPhone and this is Android. This is Face ID and this is fingerprint. So this is kind of like how actually the operating system they try to way and they just use the biometrics as a way for you to interact with. But actually the thing that you are doing when you do this is You using the operating system to sign a transaction, that is what it do. So it's already supported by operating system. And to be honest, I think for me, this is how I define wallet. So the function of a wallet is creating a hash and send this information to a network. And sending information is trivial. So I think the most important thing is it has access to the private key, do the signing, and create this triple. So now with operating system is a wallet. And actually we already use it so many times before. I think if you ever use, so every time you interact with GitHub server using the same mechanism. Okay. And also through the FIDO Alliance, it is recognized. And so yeah, so that is what it. And if you check out the FIDO website, so if you go to the FIDO website, and actually, I work with my friend in fintech, and they told me that FIDO Alliance make sure that Passkey is legal compliant as level 2 security or something. I don't really get it, but they told me that because of this, so now Passkey is widely recognized in the industry. It's supported by all of the biggest brand name in the industry. From I mean, you can see Google, Sony, IBM, all of the company that they provide like have like basic structure for the internet, but also recognized by the government for you to be legalized, recognize that as a security method for you to store assets. So that is passkey. And okay, so if we have passkey in here, the cool thing about passkey is it's bring a lot of benefit to user because now you can use blockchain without installing any wallet. I think there's a lot of benefit to end user, but I will list out three big benefit in here. One is better UX. So now you have operating system in the wallet. So you don't have to install anything to use blockchain. You just use operating system, and theoretically you can interact with blockchain. Second thing, you have programmable wallet. I think if you guys familiar with Ethereum, they have account abstraction, but I think they are not really successful because the way Ethereum works is a little bit different. It cannot easily make it available to end user without changing the infrastructure. But for Solana, there is not a lot of change in the infrastructure. So I think the adoption in Solana will be much faster. The second benefit is programmable wallet. Nowadays, if my private key is exposed, you can do anything with my fund. That is the problem we have today. However, with passkey, losing your private key is not when you set up a smart wallet because it's a smart contract. You can set up additional backup key. You can even do custom rule for spending. For example, I can create a passkey for my organization and assign other people to spend the money in the wallet within restriction. I can even do something crazier like on-chain session key for transaction without any signing UI. For example, I play a game. Every time I play a game session for 30 minutes, it's an on-chain game. And I don't want every time I do some action will be a pop-up and ask me to sign it. If I want to bypass it, I can do it with this technology. I can go into detail. If you ask me how to do it, it's very cool. But we can actually do on-chain session key, so we can safely set a rule in the smart contract that I want this device to interact with blockchain 30 minutes without any signing. We can do that. The benefit is enhanced security because on the wallet to do security check for you, I think that I want to put my operating system rather than the wallet. The wallet application is the one that do the transaction simulation for you and can protect you from any malicious action. With this model, we have the new antivirus. We can enhance the security model of blockchain a lot. To understand all of the benefit in here and maybe come up with your own reasoning, what is the opportunity and what is the benefit that Passkey can bring to you, maybe let's look at under the hood how it works. So the signing model that we are seeing right now is like this. We have any user use the passkey to patio sign a message and send that message to a relayer. And why they have to do it? Because the end user here, you don't have a Solana key and you have no gas fee. So what you should do is that you send it to a relayer. And relayer is a server. Is it secure? Can they mess up with your message? The answer is not. They cannot because you already signed your message in here. Whatever you want to do, you already sign it. So the servers, the relayer here, they cannot mess up with it. What they can do is that they can pay the transaction fee and commit the transaction to the network. The worst thing they can do to you is they can keep the message for themselves and they do not send it. That is the only thing they can mess up with you. There's nothing else they can mess up with you. So I think this is a very good top line security measure. Even you have someone pay the gas fee for you and do a transaction, but every security model is still okay. So this is kind of like how it works. Instead of directly the transaction to the blockchain, you send it through the relayer. I want to give you one example of how we do it. Laser Kit is a team from Super Team Vietnam, and they are building the Passkey infrastructure for Solana. And how they do it is like this. They have a Laser Kit program, and every time someone wants to create a smart contract, they will create three PDA. One is a smart wallet, which is usually an empty PDA. Then they have a smart wallet data, and they keep all the rules in here. They have a Passkey smart wallet PDA, and there's the public key of the passkey and the smart wallet public key in this. By doing this, they can enable multiple passkey to smart wallet. The fund will be stored in the smart wallet, and the transaction in the blockchain will show the smart wallet. You can let the multiple passkey interact with smart wallet. That's one thing. Second thing is because you have the smart wallet data in here, and it will refer to rule program. So this design is actually influenced by the token 2022 program. What we do is that every time perform an action, it will go through a custom rule or another program, which is a rule program that anyone can write, and the owner of the smart wallet will choose the rule program for themselves. For example, like I can have a smart wallet and then I choose a rule program, which is a special program that say, I can go to the detail later on, but I can choose a rule program that say maybe I have three wallet, I have three passkey can access to my smart wallet, but only one key is the admin, the other two key is the spending key and not the admin. And only the admin can add a new passkey and remove the existing passkey. The rule program is a custom program, and you can do a lot of custom rule with it. For example, you can do things like something I call a dead man switch. So this is my personal story. A few weeks ago, I was on an airplane that is cruising in the sky, and then we go into the storm. And the storm was so bad that at the time we tried to land, but the pilot he failed twice to land the airplane, and I thought I was dying. Like it was a few weeks ago. But that's one problem I realized with crypto is if I die at the time, then I will go to the ocean with my phone, my laptop, and my wife and my kid have nothing left. That is a very bad thing about blockchain right now because even it is very secure. But if you want to leave the fund for your loved one, how you can do it? There's one self custody solution which is using multi. But there's one problem is I don't want to squat with my wife because my wife is not an IT expert any mean, and I don't want to asset with my fund because there's going to be a security problem. So with Passkey, we can build a custom rule, which is a dead man switch. So what I can do is that I can set up three keys. Two of the key is my key, and another passkey is from my wife. And I can set up a rule if the two key in here inactive for let's say 6 months in 80 days, then the third key can access the fund. I call it a dead man. So if a dead man is a someone die, then the two key not active, either the phone or the laptop is not active, then the third key can active. So we can do a lot of different program with different rules in here. I think this is a very unique way for you to think about wallet and how you can new application. So enough of talking. I really want to show you how it look like in real life. So the key is always live and they have a demo here. So this is a website laserkit.com, app.laserkit.com, and you go there and you create a wallet. And for the first time, it will create a wallet using passkey. Okay, and they have a wallet management user interface like this. I want to note that there's no application that they have to install. Everything here is just on the browser, and they can manage everything in here normally, just like Phantom. But I think the coolest thing in here is everything is just passkey. There's no additional wallet, and you see the UI is really smooth. But the cool thing in here within this user interface, what you can do, you can go to the setting, you can change who can access your wallet and everything. Like that is the technology what we already have today. So laser and try this out. So it is laserkit.com and they go up all the document in here. However, I want to introduce you about LaserKit, but I think it's a Passkey technology in general because there's a lot of opportunity for builders in here. So what opportunity that is it bringing? So I think there are three, maybe two main opportunities. The main thing is bridging Web2 user to Web3 because the user experience now is very simple. It's very easy for user to use. So it is self-custody and programmable wallet for enterprise. Think about document approval. You don't need multi-sig key anymore. You can just let people use their phone to approve, and you can set up like custom rule. So maybe one action, one approval need. You can add a very complex rule because it's all programmable right now. So you can have like full set of like document approval process of your company on chain, and it's still secure because the only thing you store on chain is the pub key of the passkey of the device. So no one know who it is. And now you can have programmable wallet. One use case that I'm seeing is, for example, right now in Super Team, if I need someone to spend something, they will spend it, and I like Super Team will compensate them later. But it's actually very messy. One, that person have to upfront the money. Second, in terms of like accounting and everything is very complex because we have to reimburse people. And I see that happen not only in Web3 but Web2 as well. But with this technology, what you can do is that we can let everybody spend from the same wallet, because now everybody is holding not the wallet but only the passkey, only the key to the fund, and now they can spend it depend on the rule and on the on-chain transactions. What is you seeing that the fund is moving from the company wallet, which is very easy for anyone who doing like audit and everything and accounting. And the second type like opportunity is for you to build consumer-friendly wallet with backup, even temporary no signing experience for gaming wallet, for Deadman Switch wallet, and a lot of other things as well. This is like this invite for innovation and invite for everyone to think about what you can build. And to be honest, this might be a good or a bad thing. I have no idea, but I think next year, in the next 12 months, now you see that SUI is supporting Passkey now, and in November, soon EVM will support Passkey. And my question is, if all of the major chain support Passkey, then now you use blockchain as a backend. You have no idea what blockchain you are using. Because the simple thing is like you just go to a website, you perform a transaction with your phone, with your device. And nobody will ask you about gas fee or anything because all the relayer will abstract it. So the blockchain UX now will be 10x better because you don't have to educate user about for anything. They are self-custody by default, but they don't have to rely on centralized party. And now they can using multiple blockchain without knowing that is a blockchain. Now they're using Solana just as simple as they using SUI and as simple as they using EVM. Or maybe even in one authentication process, they can interact with three blockchain at once. That can be happen today when they can have in one interaction interact. They can sign in both SUI and Solana because that two blockchain already supporting it. In Vietnam, there's a team that they are building zero link, kind of like abstract it and try to build a cross-chain wallet, a true cross-chain wallet, not like the wallet that we are seeing right now. When like in a Phantom, you can create a private key for Solana and Ethereum. That is not like really cross-chain wallet, but you still have two different private key. The thing in here is like you have only one passkey, and then you can use that passkey to interact with different network. Yeah, that is the final slide that I have. I think this is a call for innovation for everyone in the industry. I think this is something I really want you to take a close look at and think for yourself. If this model is happening, a lot of things is going to change in blockchain because right now, the current we have the end user interact directly with the validator. Actually, another third party involved is we interact with the app, and then the app will send us a transaction. We send transaction and send it to the validator. And now we don't send it to validator, we send it to relayer. You can think of like the new antivirus for blockchain. Let me show you. So on my Twitter yesterday, I have a crazy experience. What I did that I just use look, I use just like Super Team to do some admin tasks for Super Team, and then Phantom block it. Hey, .superteam.fun is blocked it. Is on the block maintained by Blowfish. I don't blame them because maybe someone just report earn fund for some reason. Maybe competitor. I have no idea. However, right now we are on rely on a single centralized party, which is Phantom or Blowfish, to maintain a list of trusted party for us to interact with in blockchain. And sometimes kind of like, how can you know someone is, how to put it? What I mean is they try to solve the security need for everyone, right? the beginner to the advanced user. I don't think this is something you can do because for some user, like I'm a developer myself, I will interact with various applications. So my security model will be customized according to my preference. And right now, there's no way for me to do it because the transaction simulation is kind of like a black box. There's no way I can reach it and no way I can customize it. I also do not pay Phantom to do this for me. Look, if you don't pay anyone to do this for you, how do you know they're doing good job and they have no incentive to do this for you as well? However, the new model that I'm proposing with blockchain is we sending this to a relayer, and the relayer will be the one that maybe you pay them per transaction, you can pay them subscription model or whatever, but they will be the one that do the security layer for you. They will simulate transaction, which transaction is malicious and everything based on your own preference. And sometimes you have very innocent, just send USDC to someone, but kind of like you have a certain setup to make sure that only certain address is trusted. For example, that is this is very context a security model, and no generic transaction simulation can help you with that. With this model, when you have a direct relation with relayer, the one will be the transaction simulation for you. You can set up a lot of rules there. Yeah, so that is kind of why I think this is a big deal, and this is going to change the way we think about blockchain in the next maybe 12 months. Just want to sum up why it's a big deal because it's going to one, it's going to push on the blockchain behind the scene to be the back end. We will use blockchain without knowing it is blockchain. And second, a lot of more people will use blockchain because now you can use it without installing anything. If you ever run like marketing, you will know that to ask someone to install something in their wallet, in their phone, at scale, like a lot of people do it, you usually have to do advertising. It's cost from $3 to $5 to ask a person to do it. But now with blockchain, with passkey technology, the cost go to zero. Kind of like everyone just go to website and you have it. So yeah, so I think that's why it's a big deal. It's going to change all the way user interact with blockchain and make it more accessible to the mass. Okay, so I finished my part. Any question from you?
No, that's amazing. That was really good. I loved how you went into the current and obviously the past and the issues as well. So this is why you're the GOAT.
Yes, exactly.
So are you still in Singapore or where are you now?
Oh, I supposed to be startup village right now, but it's with very heavy rain this morning. I have to say sorry because that is the reason why you see that in the first maybe 10 minutes, I try to live this on Twitter to kind of compensate to the people who cannot make up to the startup village. But I think I fail.
No, it's all good. We actually were relaying this on Twitter and YouTube live as well. So for people for future reference as well, or if you want to watch again, you can rewind on YouTube. Hackaroo or Solana ANZ is available 24/7. Cool. But yeah, thank you. Passkeys is definitely the future and the present and the past. And obviously Laser Kit, a great team from Vietnam, is making long strides to make sure this happens for everyone.
Yes, but I think selling technology as well. Because the moment you really sit down and implement this, you will see that there's a lot of compromise you have to make. Even I said the slide in the group chat already, you can see the cap like the model that they make, like how they store the data information and everything. You can see the compromise that they make because they store a lot of information on blockchain, easy for people to access to rules program. But that flexibility, some compromise because it's very easy for someone to install a malicious rules program. Like,
Yeah.
like for example, I try to ask someone to use my own rule program. My own rule program will steal money away from you. There always pros and cons in every technical design. But I think that there will be a lot of competition on the market. And what I want to emphasize on this call is this technology because it's going to make blockchain more accessible. It can be laser kit of anyone who building the same thing, but there's no silver bullet in engineering design. So this is just one design.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. So Squads you mentioned already has a passkeys implementation, and JupeNet, they did a demo during their FNF meeting in Singapore last week as well, and they also demonstrated how passkeys can move across browser and mobiles, right?
Yeah.
So it's definitely the way everyone's going. And obviously, Microsoft, Google, Amazon have all implemented it. I think even Netflix allows you to log in using passkeys, right? So it makes it how you can log or lock people into a physical person instead of you sharing with your brother, sister, mum, dad. It's definitely a lot of advantages there. But yeah, let's leave it there. Thank you so much once again for your support and for contributing to Hackaroo. Tomorrow, we've got another back to back How to Win Down Under with Krish from Gosai Law. And then we have Sophian, who's going to teach us how to pitch like an expert. So they're the two presentations that we have tomorrow. There's about 23 days left in Hackaroo and Coliseum. So good luck to everyone that's still building. We will see you tomorrow. Thank you, Hugh.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. See you on chain. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.